Good morning, everyone. This is Sachin, and we are moving on to second topic of the units and dimension chapter, that is error analysis. Okay, this is topic second. In the first topic, we have discussed about significant number and problems regarding writing dimensional equation for various SI units that you have to practice. For example, for force you are writing it as mass into acceleration. Mass is m, acceleration is lt minus 2. That you have to practice, and you have to do it for various SI units, and you will get the better idea. Okay, let us move on to the next analysis, that is error analysis concept. Suppose we have a measurement. Suppose you are measuring a certain value. For example, you are taking various reading in doing experiment with screw gauge, and you are having values like a1, a2, a3, a4, so on up to an. And if you take mean of all those values, then you will get am, correct? You will get the mean of value, you get am, add all the things, and divided by number of readings you are taking. Okay, next, absolute error. If you take absolute error means it comes for every particular value. Absolute error value can be calculated for each of the values. Absolute value means, for example, if I'm calculating absolute error for a1, then I have to take difference between a1 and mean value. Suppose I'm taking it for a3, then I have to take a difference between am and a3 value. See here, delta a1 is absolute error for a1, so I am taking mean value minus a1. Absolute error for a2 will be am minus a2, and so on so forth. Absolute error for an is am minus an. If a mean absolute error I am taking, then I have to take all the absolute errors, delta a1, delta a2, delta so on up to divided by number of the observations I am making. Okay, that will be mean absolute error. Next, I am moving on to relative error concept. Relative error means I have to take error as the phrase is telling, that is relative error. I have to take error with respect to mean value. Relative error divided by mean value, then if I multiply it with 100, then I will get the percentage of relative error. Okay, that will be percentage of relative error. Okay, I'm telling all the concepts once again. If I am making any physical observations or taking reading in any of the physical experiments or observations, suppose a1, a2, a3, so on up to an are my values, then I have to take the mean value of them. I am taking here am, the mean value I am getting here. Absolute error means it will come for each of the values. Suppose a1, a2, a3 I am having 100 values, I will get 100 absolute error for a1, a2, a3, so on up to am. That will be given by delta a1, delta a2, delta a3, delta am, so on and so forth. Okay, if I am taking delta a1 value, that will be like taking difference between a1 and mean value. Delta a2 means am minus a2 value. Mean absolute error means all the absolute errors have to be added and divided by number of the absolute errors. That if I am taking, that will be mean absolute error value. Relative error means I am taking this delta a mean divided by a mean, that will be relative error, and if I am multiplying it with 100, I will get percentage. Okay, hope you have understood this, and please calculate absolute error, mean absolute error, relative error, and also calculate absolute error, mean absolute error, relative error, and also mean value for these values. Okay, 1.5, 1.55, 1.52, 1.53. Okay, again, I am not going to solve this problem. This is very simple. Please go through all the concepts I have discussed here, and please solve this problem. That means you have to calculate mean value for this 4 digits, 4 values, and absolute error for these 4 values, and mean absolute error for these 4 values, and relative error. Okay, please calculate. Okay, please comment the answer. Okay, next, we are moving on to a few problems. Before that we will move on to rules for error operations. Okay, rules for error operations we are moving here. Suppose I am taking suppose I have two values. Let us assume that a plus or minus delta a and b plus or minus delta b. I am having two values. This is main value, this is error of a, this is error of b. Suppose if I have to add these two things, for adding these two things, I have to add main values as it is, then I have to add errors. Okay, then I have to add errors. This is law of addition of errors. This is law of what? Addition of errors. Okay, next I'm having two values, a plus or minus delta a or b plus or minus delta b, and a is main value, b is main value, delta a is error of a and delta b is error of b. And if I am calculating difference between the two values, then a minus b plus or minus will be, I have to take if even if I am taking a difference between these two values, now also I should add the errors. Okay, errors should be added, it should not be subtracted. Why errors should not be subtracted? Why? Can anybody tell me why error should not be subtracted? That is because error is already a smaller value, so we should not subtract it, we should just add it. Okay, but main value should be subtracted. This is what? This is the law of this is law of addition of errors, this law of subtraction of errors. Suppose I have two values, v1 is equal to 10.2 plus or minus 0.02, v2 is equal to 6.4 plus or minus 0.01. Then v1 plus v2 means this is main value, isn't it? v1 is equal to 10.2 plus or minus 0.02 cm3, and v2 is equal to 6.4 plus or minus 0.01 cm3. If I'm adding both, I have to add main value and also should add separately the errors also. Okay, see, I'm taking here v1 plus v2, then I have to add both the main values, that is 10.2 6.8 is probably how much, 16.6 plus or minus I have to add error 0.02 0.03 is, of course it is very easy, 0.03 cm3 is the answer. Suppose if I am taking minus v1 minus v2, then also I should take the main value difference, but error should it be subtracted or added? Definitely it should be added, as I have told here, it should not be subtracted. Keep that thing in mind. Okay, v1 minus v2 will be, again I subtract both, 10.2 6.4 will be around 3.8 plus or minus error should be added again, 0.03 cm3 will be our answer. Okay, both the answer. See, you have two values with errors, add when adding those two values, just add their main value, but their error should be added separately. If you are subtracting two values with errors, take the subtraction between the main values, but error should be added, it should not be subtracted. Keep that thing in mind. Okay, yes. Next we move on to the product rule. If I am having any product like this, y is equal to xz, we have to take error like this, delta y by y, the error should be added, relative error should be added, delta x plus x, delta z by z, the error should be added. For example, if I am having like this, a is equal to bc, delta a by a is equal to delta, the relative error should be added. In the same way, for division also the errors should be added. For example, I have like this value like this, y is equal to p, left side error should be delta y by y, this side it should be delta p by p, the denominator will go outside and we will get delta q by q, it would not become negative. Okay, some students make that mistake, it should be positive only. Now if I have a value like this, x is equal to y by z, then it should be delta x by x, the error of the left side, and here it becomes delta y by y plus delta z by z. Okay, similarly. And if I am having error in coefficient, suppose if you have error of coefficient, you have to know that is ap is equal, bp is equal to y, this y I am writing it as delta y by y, this exponent value or the superscript coefficient should be multiplied with the relative error of this thing. Okay, p into delta a into a plus p into delta b by b. Is it okay? Yes, is it okay? Yes. Okay, if you don't know, I will take one example, x is equal to ap bp divided by cq. Okay, delta x by x, just take exponent value p into delta a by a plus take exponent value p into delta b by b take this denominator value to the upside, but it should be plus only. Q divide into delta C by C value. Okay, is it okay? Yes, very good. Okay, we move on to the problems next. Okay, yes. Okay, here is our important, very important problems. Find the relative error in Z if Z is equal to A raised to 4, B raised to 1 by 3, C into D raised to 3 by 2. Okay, first we will write it in error form. A is 4% error, B is a 2% error, C is 3% and D is 1% error. Okay, Z is equal to A raised to 4, B raised to 1 by 3, C into D raised to 3 by 2. We know that for division the error should be added, and for exponent the error should be multiplied. Okay, left side error will be delta Z by Z. Here 4 should be multiplied with the relative error of the A, delta A by A, plus this 1 by 3 should be multiplied with relative error of the B, 1 by 3 into delta B by B, plus this should be added, delta C by C, plus this exponent should be multiplied with the error, delta D by D. Okay, just take the value delta Z by Z. 4 into delta A error is 4%, delta error value is 4%, plus 1 by 3 into delta A, delta B percent will be 2%, plus C percent will be 3%, delta C by C relative error will be 3%, and D relative error will be plus 1%. Okay, 4 4s are 16%. This will be 3 by 2. 3 plus 1 is 4. If you calculate all this, you will get the value. Okay, please calculate the value. 16% plus 3 by 2% plus 4%. Okay, 16%, 3 by 2% plus 4%. Okay, please calculate the value and get me the answer. Okay, please calculate the value. Okay, what will be the answer? What will be the answer for that? Answer is 21%. Okay, answer will be 21%. Okay, if you calculate 1.5 here, 4 here, 5.5, 16, 21.5%. See, here we have one more value, one more problem. This is T is equal to 2 pi. Yeah, root of L by G means L raised to 1 by 2, G raised to 1 by 2. L and G errors are given. 2 pi is constant. I cannot write error for that. So it becomes delta T by T is equal to 2 pi. Constant error should not be written. 1 by 2 into delta L by L, plus this G becomes 1 by 2 into delta G by G. Okay, delta T by T is equal to 1 by 2 into delta L by L. L is 1% plus G is 2%. Okay, 2 2s are, here it is 1 by 2% plus 1%. That will be 3 by 2%. 3 by 2% means 1.5% is the answer. Okay, see here, please calculate this value. How it can be written? Delta P by P into this 3 delta A by A plus 2 into delta B by B divided by delta C by C plus, sorry, it should be added, isn't it? Delta C by C plus delta D by D should be added like that. Okay, yes. See, if can you calculate this? This will be for your homework. Okay, please calculate it. Next, if error in the diameter of circle is 4%, diameter will be 2 times radius. Diameter error in a circle will be delta D by D is equal to this 2 I am avoiding, that is constant, delta R by R. If delta D by D is 4%, then delta R should be also be 4%, because don't make a mistake, it is not 8%, it is 4% only, because how much diameter increases, that much only radius increases. This is the if diameter is small, radius is small. If diameter is large, definitely radius is also large. Okay, don't make it 8%. See, 2 I am avoiding here. Okay, yes, we please pause this and solve all the problems given, and also solve all the problems given in the assignment. Okay, we will move on to next chapter, that is mechanical properties of solid and liquids, in the next class. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, solve the assignments given in your folders. Okay, thank you.